Hi, everybody. This is acyuta-bhava from Nightlight Astrology. I am sitting down today to answer a question that I received from one of my viewers out there asking, what is the role of Earth in astrology? So this is a really good question, and I think the answer will be fairly short, but I want to give you a little demo using a program that I have, kind of a cool astronomy program, and just give you a visual and try to explain the role of planet Earth in astrology. Before I do that, I want to remind you that I am fundraising the last 40 days of the year. We're doing really, really well. We're well over 400 backers now, and uh, last year's goal has been surpassed at 420. We're really coming along nicely now. So I just want to thank you, everybody, for your generous contributions. And let's see how good we can do. Let's see how far we can go and set the record, set the bar high for next year as well. Remember that when you donate before midnight on December 31st, you get 50% off all of my online programs. You can pick up a reward reading, a gift bundle of reading for people that you love, whatever. I thank you so much in advance for all of your support. I can't do this work without you. I make this content year round. It goes out to a ton of people. Mostly people experience this for free. I want to keep it that way. If a small number of my clients out there, my readers and viewers and so forth pitch in, it makes a career out of this for me, which is amazing. It's an incredible blessing. So I thank you guys so much. All right, so on to today's topic, which is what is the role of Earth in astrology, the planet Earth. So, oh, and I should mention, sorry, I almost forgot. I was going to kick myself. The link to the Kickstarter is in the description of this video and is in the comments section as well. You can click on there to donate. Okay, so the role of Earth. Well, first of all, Earth does not have, we do not use the Earth as a symbol in the birth chart to be read. We use Earth as a symbol that works into the greater metaphysical paradigm of astrology. So what is Earth? In some ways, the best way to understand this is to say that Earth is you and Earth is me. Earth is the standpoint from which the divinatory, ceremonial, oracular moment is being oriented. So we orient the birth chart and the entire study of astrology from the standpoint of our geocentric perspective here on Earth. It's not that we stand in ignorance of the fact that the sun is at the center of the solar system. In fact, long ago, there was the primary importance of the sun at the center of astrology was established, and people were hypothesizing about the sun being at the center of the solar system long before it was widely and formally accepted by the sort of scientific academic communities or religious institutions for that matter. So first of all, the sun has always played a central role. It's not that ancient astrologers had some ignorant view about the centrality of the sun. The sun was at the center of the paradigm, which is, I guess, interesting in terms of not yet knowing in some ways what the actual physical model of the cosmos looked like. It's, in other words, a way of saying that they understood the core significance of the sun symbolically, spiritually, metaphysically, even if the actual literal physical discovery of the sun being at the center of the cosmos was not yet, widely established. That's really important because what we don't need to argue that ancient astrology's physical, literal view of the cosmos it needs to be, like literally or scientifically, empirically true for astrology to be valid. What we need is for the paradigm that astrology, the metaphysics and the view of reality, of the soul and of life that astrology depicts to be real. That's what we need to, that's what we need to be real. So, okay, struggling to articulate myself, sorry. So the model that is often referred to as the celestial spheres model of the cosmos. And that model was used for a long time. It gradually became more and more of an empirical model, being originally more, you could say, of a divinatory model. It becomes more and more empirical. You have people maybe like Plato, Eudoxus, Aristotle, many others building on it. It evolves over time. And eventually, Ptolemy picks it up. And So it's a model, it's a view of the cosmos that is originally attempted to explain heavenly motion in some ways, but is also a part of this divinatory, spiritual, and mystical metaphysic. So again, what we want to do is understand the metaphysic, because that's what really matters to us as astrologers, and then we can also use all of the spiritual philosophy and the actual techniques and practices of ancient astrology to great effect still today. But it really helps if we understand that ancient model. So the Earth's role in the ancient model of the celestial spheres, to put it simply, was that Earth is the densest point of materiality. Now, I'm going to just show something on my screen to you guys right now. So here's a program. This is called Starry Night Pro. Really cool program. And I'm going to draw on this a little bit to give you a picture. It's like we're looking up at the night sky, and we've got the band of the zodiac. This green line represents the zodiac, okay? So that's the zodiac, and the constellations are like boundary markers along this 360-degree mathematical circle. The constellations don't define that zodiac in the tropical zodiac. It is 12 30-degree portions of a perfect geometric circle that define the zodiac. And why 12? Because we have a solar year divided into 12 lunar months. Very basic. So, and then the constellations are like boundary markers, loose boundary markers that are not literally, but symbolically denoting those mathematical spaces. That's true whether you're doing sidereal astrology or tropical astrology. It's just that in tropical astrology, we believe that you don't have to move the zodiac along with the gradual movement of the constellations, which is happening at the rate of 1 degree every 72 years, that the fixed constellations are sort of moving along. Now, we don't believe that in the West, we say you don't have to adjust for that movement. 0 Aries is always the spring equinox, and that's that. But in the East, of course, the sidereal astrologers will, try to match up that mathematical circle with the gradual movement of the constellations. So the point is that it's not in the East, the constellations define the zodiac. The zodiac has always, first and foremost, been defined as a 360-degree mathematical circle to which it is correlated to the constellation. It's correlated with the constellations. So it's just whether or not you're taking that mathematical circle and tracking it alongside of the movements of the constellations or not. Okay. So that's just, that's a sidereal tropical debate. If people start getting to sidereal tropical debates on this post, by the way, I will delete because I get really sick of it. It's just pointless. Both zodiacs work. These are divinatory models. It's like arguing over different types of tarot decks. So at any rate, the next thing that is really important is that we understand that this view of the zodiac and the cosmos, right, and the planets out there, were seen as concentric spheres. So you can think of this as like circles, that are seen, within circles like this. And these concentric rings that are out there are the spheres of all of the planets. And we are here at the bottom on Earth. And so progressively, as you go up, these are thought to represent increasingly higher states of consciousness or reality, the realms of the gods, of the archetypes, the thoughts in the mind of God, of the prime mover, of the fixed stars, and the sphere beyond, the invisible realm beyond them. So it's a model that shows us as the densest point of materiality, where we represent the material energy down here, and upwards is the spiritual energy. And so the basic idea is that the planets in these concentric spheres are like the gods that are ordaining the rules of karma that are playing out here in the material rivers of karma on planet Earth. So planet Earth is a realm of duality and flux, material energy. And gradually, as you go upward, you're reaching into spirit, that which is timeless and eternal. Here, it's time-bound and impermanent. So this is like an ascending ladder, you could say, up from the planets into the stars, etc. Now, the way to understand Earth in this paradigm is thus the place of densest materiality, the place where we meet our earthly mortality, the limitations of the body and the flesh, etc., the tendency that we have to forget who we are and to get enmeshed in material things. To this extent, to the extent that we do get sort of unconsciously enmeshed within our material nature, the planets are said to be grahas or grabbers, wanderers that reflect something of the wandering and rather, pointless, transient activities that we take part in, mostly gratifying the senses for very short periods of time and mistaking that for happiness. So in that regard, the unconscious souls walking around planet Earth are, let's say, fallen souls. They're said to be fallen because these upper portions that we just mapped out are said to be where the soul comes from, and it's said to descend into matter from those higher spheres. As it descends or falls into matter, the idea is that it gets encased within, all sorts of karmic dramas, and transmigration of the soul takes place and so forth. So the earth is the playing ground for that. The planet Earth represents that. And everything that we're looking at in terms of what the birth chart tells us is taking place within the context of planet Earth. That's why the vantage point, the geocentric vantage point, is so important, because it's really an imaginative way of understanding the duality between spirit and matter, and the need to yoke, as in the word yoga, to yoke spirit and matter together, to elevate our consciousness in the temple of our bodies. So when we do that and we come into conscious relationship with the heavenly spheres and we study astrology, it helps the soul to remember its higher nature, and then gradually the karma shifts, our relationship with the material energy shifts, the birth charts become less of the confines, the planets less of grabbers and more of guides. And what are they guides to? Our eternal home in the spiritual realm. That's the basic idea. The life of the philosopher for Plato looks a little bit different than the life of the yogi in the East, but they're very similar paths and very similar views of reality. And in this paradigm, the Earth's place is to depict this incredible sort of space, sublunary space, the space right below the moon, the sphere that's lowest down, closest to the Earth is the moon, and there's the elements kind of below and commingling. And then there's the fluctuations and dramas and events on Earth, which are reflective of the movements of the higher spheres, the higher thoughts in the mind of God, according to Hermeticists. So that's the role that planet Earth plays in astrology. We don't put the planet in and say that it has a special symbol to be read in the chart. The chart itself, the circle, for example, in a more modern sense, it actually didn't look like a circle long ago, but in a more modern sense, the circle of the chart is the Earth, and the view that the chart provides through 12 houses from an eastern horizon to the western horizon. Like when we look at houses, right? Here's your eastern horizon, your rising sign, the marker of the first house. Here's the 12th house up here, here's 11, here's 10, right? So you're splitting the sky up, and so our chart is the Earth. That's the view. So the Earth is the container for this karmic action that's playing out. That's how we understand the Earth in ancient astrology. So I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope I tried to give a quick explanation, and I think in my speed I was stumbling over my words more than usual, so I apologize if it was a little incoherent in parts. It is not to say that, again, the one thing I want to reemphasize is that this view, this geocentric view, is also important in terms of the divinatory significance of what we're doing. The diviner is looking up from the Earth. The Earth is the vessel for the ritual and ceremonial act of divination, which for ancient people was sacred. This is why you had to give something from the Earth to the gods, a sacrifice of some kind. Usually often blood was required. But even just a fire, something that is thought to go upward to the gods and from the Earth in order to connect the two. That's why the ascendant, the marker of where the stars are rising in the east, the birthing place, when children are coming out of the womb and making a first appearance from below the horizon of their mother, and then they come out into the world. Stars are first appearing in the east. The whole construct of the chart is the Earth. And so the Earth plays a very important role but it plays the container role for the diviner's petitioning of the gods to say or speak something. So a very important role. But I think we make a mistake if we think, oh, well, we need to slap it in the chart and give it a meaning somewhere. I personally, I don't think that that's necessary. The earth is why we have the houses the way that we do. All the house meanings are derived from what planets look and behave like in different parts of the earth from our frame of reference. And the geocentric view is not an ignorant view in astrology. The geocentric view is one that honors the position of the human soul and its condition, its potential for material conditioning that it gets lost in. But as well, this place is an adventure that the soul has chosen on some level, and a highly educational and a beautiful place that is sanctified and can, in that sense, we can connect heaven and earth from this place. That's the birth chart is helping us to connect heaven and earth. It is the ritual ceremony of the connection of heaven and earth, and the chart is what represents the earth itself. So I hope that helps. I got a bunch of questions on that, like all of a sudden. I thought it was really interesting. Maybe I said something in a video that tipped people off to asking that question. I don't know. Anyway, so hopefully this explanation again wasn't too clunky. Remember to donate if you can. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you're having a beautiful weekend. Take care, everyone. Bye.